Welcome to Reality TV News Update, where you can catch up on all of your favorite shows at any time. In addition, exclusive set items and Rob Cesternino's thoughts. I was perusing CBS official episode description for this week's episode of Survivor 50, and it all sounded a little boilerplate at the beginning. It begins with the statement, "Castaways find themselves on both a literal and figurative island after their return from what is considered to be one of the craziest tribals of all time. I mean, fairly standard things. There is no actual news there, rather. It just kind of talks about what happened last week. Castaways reflect on their letters from home and the family members that have influenced them." It continues, again, I don't want to be critical, but does this not appear to refer to events that occurred in the previous episode? Is episode 11 of season 50 just a recap with odd Jeff Probst's narration? Or are we really going old school Survivor? What is happening here? I then moved on to the following sentence. Then, at the immunity challenge this week, a shocking incident occurs. Woo-woo-yah, we seem to have gone from 0 to 60 in about 2 seconds. A shocking occurrence. Aren't we still reeling from the shocking incident from last week? Or incidents, if you want to distinguish between Rick Devens blowing up tribal council and the subsequent Merbeast coin flip. Also, be sure to read my exclusive interview with Rick about those two topics. Is this the latest shocking incident? And this time, in a challenge involving immunity. How surprising is that? The episode's title, then, is Everyone Will Be Shooketh, so that sounds pretty shocking, naturally. It is time to speculate about the possible meanings of everything. The first thought that comes to mind is that it must be a medical evacuation. Due to such incidents, we have undoubtedly experienced some terrifying moments in the past. Who wants Russell Swan to go to Samoa? But those weren't shocking at all, were they? It seems like it could be something else, and maybe I'm overanalyzing the language, but I'm not ruling that out. Could this mean that someone tries to sabotage another contestant on the course? Or does something shocking and malicious at the challenge? Based on the images of the challenge that you can see above, that also seems highly unlikely. It's the classic stand-on dash, a dash triangle dash and dash, the dash middle dash of dash, the dash ocean dash for dash as dash long dash as possible contest. Which doesn't seem like it would lend itself to any chicanery, like say throwing the sand you are digging out of your hole onto a neighboring player's side to slow them down. Additionally, it doesn't appear likely that these returning all-stars will pull such pranks. The episode's title might give away something. The use of the expression "everyone will be shooketh," as the title shows that the person who said it is predicting what will happen, not reacting to something that has already happened. It's possible that Probst announces some kind of challenge twist. And considering how straightforward the challenge appears, could it have something to do with how the elimination process works this week? After all, there are still 9 players and only 3 episodes. We would have 7 players remaining in the final to more than the traditional 5. If they only did traditional single eliminations for the next 2 weeks, naturally, nothing about season 50 is typical, so the finale might have a super elimination twist. But if not, they need to get rid of 2 more people in the next 2 weeks. Could this week see yet another double or triple elimination? Something to think about while we wait to find out how shaken we will be on Wednesday night. In the meantime, let's inspect the contents of this week's Survivor 50 mystery box by opening it as shown below. Smile, you're on a camera that's not so candid. One of the fun things I like to do when on location is film the crew filming the contestants, because it shows you what the players are actually seeing while they are out there. You didn't see a single camera at the Survivor 50 marooning on TV, but the wall of them waiting to film the Day 1 marooning challenge can be seen in the video below. This lineup is just on the other side of the final stage of the contest, so players were running right towards these cameras as they raced to finish first. I've said it before and I'll say it again, the Survivor team is the best, coolest, and most talented team in the world. Respect. No, follow this procedure. The part in which Probst walks each player through a challenge before it is run is one that never appears on television. It gives the contestants a chance to see each stage up close and ask any questions, as Jeff tells them what they can and can't do. Jeff leads each team through the course one at a time during the tribe portion of the game, with the other tribe locked down, no talking, while they patiently await their turn regardless. I always enjoy taking a few pictures of this because the dynamic is so different from what you see when the cameras start rolling again. Probst and the Sila tribe before the first immunity challenge is shown here. Rob keeps a secret box. This week, the ultimate multi-hyphenate emerges from the mystery box. Rob Cesternino, a Survivor All-Star, award-winning podcaster, international event organizer, author, and all-around cool guy, joins us to discuss episode 10 of Survivor 50 and announce the winner and loser of the week. Oh, did you notice that I said author? This is because Rob has a fantastic new Survivor book out this week called The Tribe. And I have spoken. Additionally, you can order it here. That's right. Right after you watch his mystery box video down below. The last word S, an unpublished portion of my interview with Stephanie prior to the game. Regarding the secret to remaining in the game, you want to triumph over the obstacles. You would rather not attend tribal council. I've visited there. That was recorded by me. As long as we can overcome obstacles, I'd like to be with Jonathan. He is a terrifying beast. You're in good shape if you have Jonathan. You will probably win the challenge because you will have fish. Picture of the week. The jury's reaction to Rick Devens' coin flip pretty much says it all, in my opinion. Additionally, I adore Coach's cool demeanor throughout the chaos. Do you want to be informed about everything Survivor? Subscribe to Entertainment Weekly's free Survivor Weekly newsletter to receive all the most recent news, interviews, and commentary. The torch is cast long. Jittery shadows over the tribal council set as they violently flickered in the humid night air. This time around, the atmosphere was different, heavier, and more uncertain. It was there for even the most seasoned Survivor 50 players to feel. Jeff Probst remained silent for a moment longer than usual, allowing the silence to grow to the point where it was nearly unbearable. He finally said, his voice breaking through the tension, "Tonight is not like any other night in the history of Survivor." On the wooden benches, the remaining castaways shifted uncomfortably. They had learned to anticipate twists after playing the game for weeks, but this felt bigger. A large, ominous object sat behind Jeff, partially concealed beneath a dark cloth. Jeff said, "The mystery box," sweeping the cloth away with a dramatic sweep. The massive box was sealed with a heavy latch and was carved with intricate tribal designs. Although it appeared to be ancient and almost ceremonial, there was nothing reassuring about it. Jeff went on to say, "This will alter the course of the game, but how you do it is up to you." The group broke into a murmur. Leaning forward, Maya, a strategic superpower who had won the last few votes. "What's in there?" she inquired, unable to conceal her interest, although it wasn't reassuring. Jeff smiled. "That is the puzzle." The mood had already been uneasy when we got back to camp earlier that day, after production unintentionally placed the box near the challenge area. Rumors had spread. Some players thought it might have advantages, while others worried that it might result in penalties. Dylan, who is known for his cool demeanor, wasn't sure it was good. To Serena, his closest ally, he whispered, "Whenever they hype something this much, it's never simple." Serena gave a nod, or secure. Tensions were escalating across the beach. Old alliances were beginning to break apart, and trust was at an all-time low. The introduction of something new and powerful only exacerbated the situation. In a whispered exchange, Marcus admitted, "I don't like it. It's too improbable." Maya rebutted, "That's the point. Opportunity is created by unpredictability." That unpredictability was now a real thing. As I sat at tribal council, Jeff looked over at the group. "The process is as follows. The mystery box will be opened tonight by one of you. But there is a catch. You have to decide who gets that responsibility together." Responsibility, Dylan went on, "or danger." Jeff's grin slightly widened. "Exactly." The discussion immediately began. Maya desired authority. "I ought to open it. I've been making moves throughout the game. I can handle anything." Marcus gave a headshake. "This is precisely why you shouldn't. You already wield too much authority." Serena spoke with care. "Perhaps it ought to be someone impartial. Someone who is not the game's driver." Dylan stated bluntly, "Neutral doesn't exist anymore." The voices merged. New allegations surfaced. Betrayals from the past were brought back to light. Before the mystery box could even be opened, it had already broken up the group. Jeff finally extended a hand. "Time has come. Decide." Elena was the focus of everyone's attention after a nervous pause. While more powerful people were fighting around her, she had played a quiet game, staying under the radar. As the remaining castaways of Survivor Season 50 emerged from yet another exhausting immunity challenge, the sun dipped low over the Fijian horizon, painting streaks of orange and crimson across the sky. But there was something off. Even before they reached camp, they noticed that a large, weathered crate sitting near the fire pit, marked with a bold symbol none of them recognized. No note, no instructions, merely a box. Serena said, dropping her buff onto the sand with her eyes fixed on the object. "It wasn't here this morning." Dylan carefully circled it. "They demand that we open it. That is evident." Marcus rebutted, Or they want us to think we should. That's how they take you in. Maya, who has always been the strategist, came forward. Regardless, it is not random. Nothing exists. They are no longer playing small in Survivor 50. They continued to experience tension into the night. The box was not touched, at first, no. Instead, the camp was filled with whispers. While they were gathering firewood, Serena whispered to Elena, "It could be an advantage," Elena said, "or a trap, at this late stage." Probably both. Marcus and Dylan were less subtle across the beach. Marcus mumbled, "We can't let Maya get it if it's power." Dylan gave a nod, "Then we open it ahead of time for her." However, that was the issue. No one knew whether opening it would be a blessing or a disaster, because it meant taking responsibility for whatever came next. By morning, it was impossible to ignore the box. It remained silent as a challenge. Maya finally broke. "Our time is being wasted. The price of this game is $1 million. We act, not sit around and wonder." Marcus shot back. "Then you open it." Maya grinned. "I will, unless someone else wishes to exercise control." Silence. The players turned away one by one. Elena excluded. She said, "I'll do it." That caused a stir. "You surprised?" Dylan asked. Elena gave a light shrug. "Why not? I'd rather face it than let someone else use it against me if it's something big." She was grabbed by Serena. "Are you positive? This could completely destroy your game." Elena smiled modestly and steadily. "Or keep it." When Elena got closer to the box, they gathered round. The air felt thick, like when a storm is about to break out. Marcus warned, "Once it's open, there's no going back." Elena gave a nod. "I know." She opened the cover. A mysterious carved necklace, a dark scroll, and a sealed envelope with red ink were all contained within. Under his breath, Dylan said, "Okay, that's not normal." Maya instigated, "Read it." Elena began by picking up the scroll. "Congratulations. The Survivor 50 mystery box is now accessible to you. Power, as well as consequences, lie within. You must make a decision right away." She stopped and looked up. Serena said in a whisper, "Keep going. The first option is to take the necklace. At the subsequent tribal council, it grants you complete immunity." The group broke out in a murmur. "That's huge," Marcus commented. "Take it as it is," but Elena continued to read. Option 2, open the envelope and start a shocking incident. This will immediately alter the game, but the outcome is unknown. Silence. "Is that it?" Dylan inquired. Without explanation, Elena gave a head shake. Maya's eyes sparkled. "This is enormous. A game-changing turn," Serena said, "or one that would end the game." Elena, "Do not gamble in that manner. Consider immunity. It is certain." Marcus concurred. "You're in danger. You require security." However, Maya drew closer. "Think more broadly. You are immune for one round. A scenario like this, it might change everything." Dylan added, "Or destroy her." Elena once more lowered her eyes to the items. Simple, powerful, and secure. The necklace slightly glowed in the sunlight. However, the envelope was heavier than it appeared. Uncertain, dangerous, exciting. "What are your plans?" she asked in a low, almost whispered voice. Serena immediately advised, "Play it safe." Maya said, "Play to win." The discussion got louder and more desperate. It was no longer just about Elena. It was about what would happen to everyone, because every one of them would be affected by her decision. Elena briefly closed her eyes. Every decision was important out here. However, this was different to me. It felt like the past. She began to look around. She stated, "I didn't come this far to play scared," and took out the envelope. Dylan whispered, "No way. Are you lying?" Marcus continued. Serena appeared distraught. Elena, however, it was too late. She shattered the seal. One card was contained within. She began by silently reading it, and her expression immediately changed. Shock, then skepticism, then another thing. Power. Well, Maya made a push. "What is it saying?" Elena was hesitant. Marcus insisted, "Read it." She finally spoke. "The shocking incident. The next tribal council will be transformed immediately. Voting will not take place. Instead, the player who opened this box will have sole authority to instantly eliminate one castaway." The camp broke apart. "That is absurd." Dylan yelled. "You're lying," Serena said with wide eyes. Marcus took a stunned step back. "So she just chooses." However, Maya was beaming. Elena drew everyone's attention. The quiet player, the one who had remained unnoticed, now holding the game's most dangerous power. Serena said, her voice shaking, "You can't seriously do this." Marcus continued, "Elena, you have to think carefully." Maya approached cautiously and calculatedly. "No, she needs to be strategic." This is her action. Her remembrance, each one caught Elena's eye, her supporters her threatening, her adversary. This is where every conversation, alliance, and betrayal ended. Only one choice, only a name. At tribal council that evening, the tension was exhausting. Jeff Probst stood in front of them, his familiar face illuminated by fire. But even he appeared more serious than usual. He stated, "Elena, you've triggered one of the biggest twists in the history of Survivor. Nobody talked. You now have full authority." Absent vote, there was no debate, simply a decision. He stopped. Who will you send home? The flames broke apart. The trees were moved by a breeze. Additionally, it appeared as though time had stopped. Elena took a slow stand, paused to breathe, and mentioned a name. The response came right away. Shock, anger, disbelief. One participant covered their face with their hands. Another person, speechless, just stared, taking in the weight of the moment. Jeff nodded. He said, "Well, that's a first." He looked over at the one who had lost. This evening, the tribe has spoken in a very different way. The torch was out. The game shifted. No one spoke as they returned to camp because everything had changed. No one else had dared to cross a line like Elena had. What now? It was known by all. The mystery box had disappeared. However, the harm, the shock had only begun.